first, we are going to do a quick check-in on Mars. So remember that Perseverance, the rover, just landed down a few months ago, and Integrity, there's a little helicopter that was attached to it, and it just did its first flight. I believe it was on Monday, and all it did was came up and hovered for about 30 seconds and landed. But it's a really big deal because it's the first thing that's ever flown on Mars, and the atmosphere is a lot different on Mars than it is on Earth, so they were testing it out. Their flight window is about 30 days, and they're going to try to do at least 5 flights during that time. So we'll be able to see some more. Before I show you the video of the first flight, I want to show you how big this helicopter is. So this helicopter, Integrity, is 49 centimeters tall. So this is not very big. It's about the distance from my shoulder to shoulder. So it's a tiny little helicopter, but it was able to come up off the ground and fly. So I'm going to first share my screen with you and show you the video. It's only a few seconds long because it only flew for about 30 seconds of it flying, its first flight. Let's see here. All right. So here we go. I don't think there's sound to it. You can see it right down here. It's a tiny little helicopter. And that is the surface of Mars. You can see it's rotating around in the air. And then it was able to come down and land safely. So they will be doing some more flights with that, but it's pretty cool. That is the first thing that's ever flown on Mars. Pretty cool. All right. Another thing I wanted to show you is on my Clever page, you can get to this. And where is Curiosity? So if you, I'll show you where it is in a second, but on my Clever page. But this is Mars, and this is where Curiosity is right now on Mars. And this is its path. It has traveled a little over 15 miles. It says up here, 15.57 miles. And this is the path that it's taken. So this is on Mars where it has been. And you can zoom in and zoom out and kind of get more information. But that is on there that you can kind of track its path on Mars. And the other thing is I was going to show you some mission updates. And this link is also on my Clever page. And this right now, they are drilling the 31st hole on Mars. They're collecting samples and seeing what is under the surface. So there's some information. These are some pictures of the surface. This was during the first flight. This is before it drills down under the surface. And you can see all these shadows because the rover is taking the pictures. So it depends on where the sun is. You can see a very rocky surface. So you can see the different height elevations on Mars. Pretty cool. And also a sandy surface. So these are all pictures that have been sent from Mars, which is pretty cool. All right. On my Clever page, if you go to Mars Exploration, here's the video of Ingenuity's first flight. Here's where to click if you want to see where the rover is now. There's mission updates. And then remember, if you want to send your name to Mars on the next trip, you can click on this, ask your parents, but all you have to do is fill out your first and last name. I believe the location is just, your country, United States, and then your zip code. Ask your parents if you don't know it, and an email address. So ask your parents so you can use that, and then you can send your name to Mars and it'll be on the next flight. You'll get a little boarding pass that you can print out if you would like. All right. Let's see here. Oops. All right. So that is what's going on Mars right now. And I will keep adding things to that section on my Canvas page or my Clever page as I find them. Okay. Today we are going to start by talking about a famous underwater explorer, and his name is Jacques Cousteau. His name is Jacques, which is a French name. He's from France. So I'm going to read about him, and then we will see about people who can actually live underwater. Okay. So here is the fantastic undersea life of Jacques Cousteau by Dan Iaccarino. All right. Jacques Cousteau loved the sea. He spent his whole life exploring it. The ocean was the most incredible place he'd ever seen, and he wanted to share its beauty with the world. Growing up in France, little Jacques was a weak and sickly boy. Doctors encouraged him to swim to build up his strength. He discovered that he loved the water. Jacques also loved to tinker and build all sorts of gadgets. He saved his money and bought a camera to make his own movies. Then he took it apart to see how it worked. When he was a young man, Jacques was badly hurt in a car accident. Doctors told him he would have to wear arm braces for the rest of his life, but he refused to accept this. Just as he had done before, he turned to the sea for strength and swam every day in the Mediterranean. A friend gave him a pair of goggles so that he could see underwater. Those goggles changed his life forever. Cousteau wanted to stay underwater longer to see even more. The diving suits of his day were heavy and bulky. They didn't allow much freedom of movement, and an air hose tethered the diver to a boat. So Jacques set about tinkering, fashioning snorkels from things like inner tubes and garden hoses, but they weren't good enough. Cousteau and his engineer friend, Emile Gagnon, created a breathing apparatus they called the aqualung. It was the first machine that would let a diver breathe underwater for a long period of time. So before they had this, they had a hose that would be hooked to a boat, so they couldn't go down very far to explore. Now, Cousteau was free to truly explore. A silent world opened up to him. Cousteau wanted to share the amazing beauty of the sea with the world, so he created an airtight cover for his camera. He made lights to illuminate the sea's mysteries and found ways to film underwater. Cousteau bought a boat and turned it into his very own floating research lab and film studio. He sailed his beloved Calypso all over the world. Cousteau discovered many treasures in the Mediterranean Sea, and it was there that he shot The Silent World, the first full-length, full-color underwater film ever made. It took the world by storm. Now imagine people had never seen movies, pictures, video of underwater. And most people hadn't been underwater themselves to see the creatures down there. So just imagine how cool it would be to see the sharks and dolphins and jellyfish for the first time. Cousteau's film gave people their first glimpse of the amazing universe under the waves. Everyone loved what they saw as much as Jacques did, and they wanted to see more. So Cousteau set about showing them. He and his team created even better diving equipment and cameras. Cousteau's team invented the diving saucer, which could hold 2 people and descend 350 meters into the ocean. Next came the sea flea, which held 1 person and could go down 500 meters. Cousteau was on a never-ending quest to go deeper and learn more. So imagine, if you guys seen a football field, you know how long a football field is? If you turned it sideways and stacked about 5.5 of them, that's how deep this could go. It's pretty far underwater. Cousteau explored the frigid waters of Antarctica and found them teeming with penguins, humpback whales, and squid. Cousteau wanted to see if people could actually live underwater. He and his team built a series of underwater labs where people lived and worked for days and weeks at a time. But they found that people needed sunlight to live. And so Cousteau's dream of colonizing the ocean was not to be. Jacques Cousteau was the world's ambassador of the oceans. He produced 50 books, 2 encyclopedias, and dozens of documentary films. His popular TV series, The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau, brought whales, octopuses, otters, and dolphins right into people's living rooms on the TV. While exploring off the coast of Australia, Cousteau and his crew saw coral reefs, kelp forests, and sponge gardens. They came face to face with the leafy sea dragon. When diving in the waters near France, Cousteau and his crew found a sunken ship full of wine jars over 2,200 years old. They tasted it, and alas, it was bitter. Can you imagine drinking something that was over 2,000 years old? Ugh. The fish off the coast of Africa were friendly and curious and did not swim away. Cousteau was the first human being they had ever seen. A big grouper adopted the crew while they were filming and mischievously knocked over their lights and cameras. Cousteau and his team explored the world. But when they went back to the Mediterranean, Cousteau found it had changed. The seas were polluted. Plants and animals were dying. And so the ocean's ambassador became their most important defender. He started the Cousteau Society, which is committed to educating people about ocean life and protecting our seas from pollution. Jacques Cousteau loved the sea. He shared its beauty with the world so that everyone could love and cherish it too. All right. So Jacques Cousteau explored the ocean. He created things to better learn about the ocean, like the scuba gear and underwater cameras. He made videos and wrote books. And he'd be perfect for Earth Day, right? He even helped protect the oceans from pollution so that they could be safe and the animals could live. He wanted to create places where people could live underwater, but he realized that they needed sunlight to live, so they couldn't have like communities underwater. But they have created underwater labs where people can go down and live for about 2 weeks at a time. Now, when you go underwater so deep, people can only scuba dive for about an hour or so. So they can't learn a whole lot in that time. But when they can live underwater, their body is more used to the pressure. So they can go out and explore for 8 or 9 hours at a time. So that's a huge difference. So I'm going to show you a real quick video of an underwater lab. It's off the coast of the Florida Keys, and it is called Aquarius. And aquanauts, not astronauts, but aquanauts can go down and live in there for 2 weeks at a time and do experiments and explore the ocean floor. So this video is about 4 minutes, and then I'll be back with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
Somebody today asked me if I miss like running around in a field or something. I was like, no, I'm running around on the bottom of the ocean.
For the last 2 weeks, I've been living underwater as part of Mission 31. I was a mission scientist.
You're here! Welcome to your new home. Thank you. Are you ready for this?
Aquarius is an underwater habitat. It is on the sea floor at 63 feet, and it houses up to 6 people at a time so that you can conduct underwater research. It's a one-of-a-kind space underwater. There's no other marine lab underwater in the world. The habitat is small, it's cozy, it's about the size of a school bus, 400 square feet.
And as you can see right outside the window, there's the ocean floor about 63 feet down. There's some fish swimming around.
Normally when I'm a surface diver, I'm always worried about my bottom time. When you're diving to about 60 feet, you have about 60 minutes of bottom time without risking the bends or decompression sickness. And that's not very much if you're setting up experiments and trying to do science. But as an aquanaut, as a saturated diver, because we're living underwater for so long, we can dive for up to 9 hours a day. For our 2 weeks underwater, we accomplished what we could have done in about 2 years from the surface. We came with 5 different science goals, overall looking at global climate change and how it might affect a coral reef such as Conch Reef, where Aquarius is at. And so we took the approach of looking at tiny microclimates, such as inside a barrel sponge or inside the mouth of a tiny coral polyp, to address what might happen if we have warming of the oceans or if they're becoming more acidic in the environment that is surrounding these organisms. One of the most intense moments I've had underwater was during this first dive with the helmet, where we had to flood the mask. We had to flood the helmet by laying down and breaking the seal at our neck and letting water in, and then we had to stand up and clear it out. And it was an instantaneous thing. It took less than 15 seconds, but I was still pretty nervous about that. After all of the diving I've done, that is one of the most scary moments. Sylvia is a Goliath grouper. She hangs out around Aquarius habitat. They are able to use their anatomy to create this sound wave that travels through the water, which is their way of stunning prey or communicating with each other. There was a moment where I crept towards her and was actually able to just hang out with Sylvia for about 20 minutes. And then right before she left, she boomed right at me and it went right through my chest. It's like being in a big rock concert or something. And then she just kind of went away, like, all right, enough's enough. You had 20 minutes with me. It looks like an aquarium from your viewpoint, but you are the aquarium. It is the ocean and fish are looking in at you. And at night especially, it starts out as tiny plankton swarming to the light around the habitat, followed by larger types of planktonic animals eating those, and then small fish, and then bigger fish. It was like the food chain unraveling in front of the viewport every night. It was awesome.
All right, we have permission. Secure your exhaust valves. All right, commence blowdown. Here we go.
It was very regimented, and okay, put your fins on, get your mask on, get in the water.
All right, that's at 40 feet, 40 feet.
I didn't get to reflect on it until we were hanging on to the line and they were telling us to come up to the surface one at a time. And we're all hanging on the line and I'm realizing we spent 2 weeks underwater and this is it. I got kind of teary-eyed at that moment while hanging on to a line at 15 feet. I didn't want it to end because it was so cool and it was probably one of the most unique things I'm ever gonna do.
All right. So Aquarius has been happening and there's been different aquanauts that go down there and do experiments, and even astronauts will go down there because underwater is good astronaut training, which is pretty cool. But a new underwater habitat is being created right now, being built. And this is Fabien Cousteau. It is Jacques Cousteau's grandson, and he's also an aquanaut, and he is in charge. They're building a new underwater habitat, which look how cool this looks. So here 12 people can stay in here at a time. These are little pods. See the little windows here. Here is a submarine or a submersible and an aquanaut right here. So you can see how large this is. So it's a lot bigger than a school bus like the one that's down there now. This is being built and is supposed to be submerged in 2023. So that's pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to show you is on my Clever page. If you go to Ocean Exploration and click on Aquarius Interactive, you will get this page from the Florida International University. And if you scroll down, there are, you can kind of take a tour of the inside and outside of Aquarius. And when there are aquanauts down there, you can also watch them live. So there are all these cameras here that you can click on. It says cameras are currently inactive because there's nobody down there doing a mission, but you can come back at a later time and click on these and you can actually see what they're doing under there. But if you take a tour, and I'm going to warn you, I am horrible at controlling these things. This is actually Aquarius underwater. So you can see this is the outside. You can see fish floating around, and you can do this on your own and kind of explore. And you can go to the inside and take a tour of the interior. And again, remember they said this is about the size of a school bus. So you can see all of the mechanics over here. There's windows to see out the porthole. Like I said, I'm horrible at this. You see some computers, you see their workstations. There's an aquanaut right there. I think they sleep back there. Here is their kitchen area. Very small, but they're only there for 2 weeks. And I want to show you real quick. If you click on these, there's different videos. So here is what happens at night. You got to look real carefully. So this is out their window at night.
Come back. He's coming right at us. Oh, did you see that? Oh my God, right at the window.
So there's that grouper.
There's the shark. Did you get it? All right. Come back. He's coming right at us. Oh, did you see that?
So you can explore on Aquarius and see the different things that it has. And you can even check it out live. All right. All right, so pretty cool stuff. Who, if you could choose to go to outer space as an astronaut and explore, or you could go underwater as an aquanaut to explore, which would you choose? Who would want to go in outer space? I see some hands. I see some future astronauts here. How about who would go underwater and be an aquanaut and explore underwater?
I'm a summer baby. What do you expect? I evolve around water.
Nice.
I love to be and underwater.
And underwater. Would you like to swim with sharks and stuff?
Aquanaut. No.
Ride one.
Astronaut.
Oh, hold on. Too many people talking at once. All right. That is all I have to share with you guys today. I just wanted to introduce you to Jacques Cousteau, who is a famous underwater explorer, and he started a lot of things with underwater exploration. Check out Aquarius sometime, and I think once POTUS is down there, or POTUS is down there, they will have cameras as well, I would imagine, to be able to see what's going on. But it's pretty cool that you can check in and see. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week, and I will see you again soon. If you want to stay in chat, please do. Everybody else, I miss you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.